Like
Something
now.
funny?
Like now.
Like now?
And,
Like that.
welcome to episode 85 of Ripping the Rack podcast. We are the longest running weekly episodic podcast regarding Candlepin Bowling on the interwebs today and tomorrow and yesterday.
Brian, those are some pretty Pokemon.
Thank you, my friend.
Brian,
I
I can
catch them all, man.
By the way, I can barely see you, just so you know.
Oh, really? How's
There
that?
you
Is
are.
that better?
There.
That's better.
I emerged
it's not.
from the
It's
darkness.
worse. It's worse. Oh,
So, introductions. I am your host. My name is Tim. With me today is King of the North, Calvin Locke. Calvin, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Nice. I like your background.
Thank
It's
you.
Pretty background.
1, 2, 3.
That's good. And you had a part in at least one of those, right?
1, 2, 3.
I have the Coastal Crusader, Mr. Brian Athern. Brian, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Tim? It's been a crazy week. Great New Year so far. Some awesome news Marky and I got. If nobody saw it, I'll let Marky talk about it as well. But we had quite the good New Year's Eve and New Year's.
Well, that's a different podcast that we are not plugging on this show anymore. We are plugging zero podcasts on this show, other than our own. If other podcasts are not going to plug ours, then we are not going to plug theirs.
We should just start charging royalties.
We should.
Yeah.
We should. And again, our resident masshole, Mark Pens. Mark, how you doing, buddy?
Not bad, Timmy. How you guys doing tonight? Everything good?
Doing good.
Excellent.
Doing good. I will go on record as saying yesterday was a good day to be a Boston fan.
Yes, it was.
Patriots with a 50-10 victory over the freshman team from St. Catherine's School for the Blind.
That was a
Yeah.
spanking of a football game.
We had the Bruins with a nice 5-1 win over the Detroit Red Wings. And, of course, the Celtics, who tried to do everything wrong, still won in overtime with Jaylen Brown throwing up 50 points and 11 rebounds. So
Very shocking of a night.
I do, absolutely. Absolutely. No.
After the first quarter, I didn't think he'd score 5.
No. Well, when you scored, 26 in the fourth quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
Fun game. Interesting game. Anyway, Marky and Brian, quickly, talk a little bit about the good news you guys got.
No, it's okay, buddy. No, you seemed very adamant on not talking about anything.
No, I was
He
totally
was just
kidding.
being a douche.
Yeah.
Marky, go ahead.
All right, I'll take the reins.
I was
on
only
this
kidding, guys. Let's move on.
one. All right, very good.
No, go ahead, Marky. Go ahead.
Good
Oh,
luck.
I will say, for those of you that don't know, Brian and Marky are a part of a pretty cool podcast on Thursday. Well, I guess it would be Thursday late night or Friday early mornings, depending on which way you look at it. And on Sunday evenings, where they talk wrestling, professional wrestling, with specifically about Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling out of Colorado. So with that being said, guys, share your news.
Yeah, so we got a very good tidbit of news. The wrestling company Rocky Mountain Pro, that is based out of Denver, Colorado, was recently picked up by one Vince Russo. And if anybody's involved in wrestling, you know who that man is. He's been very creative behind the scenes, very polarizing figure in the world of wrestling. I don't know what just happened to Tim.
No,
I don't know what just happened, but anyway.
My wife's in the background just.
I thought you bit your tongue or something, or like a really painful fart or something. Anyway.
No, I was throwing up in my mouth a little bit. We're good.
All right. Well, anyway, the polarizing figure that Vince Russo is, everybody still watches him, and he runs his own website with podcasts and all kinds of famous people in the world of wrestling on there talking all the time. Well, Rocky Mountain Pro's flagship show called Charged, which is much like Monday Night Raw, if you're not familiar with the indies, was recently picked up by their website. And so wasn't our show that the Coastal Crusader and I are on, along with Johnny Deathdrop, John Stana, Jeff Walsh, and Josh Riopel, otherwise known as Triple I, and Jeff Walsh known as the Sunday Night Savior. We are the Dudes and Belts Wrestling Chatcast. But we are also going to be moving over to the Vince Russo brand's website starting January 20th, I believe.
20th.
will be
Yes.
our first episode on there. So this is a big step for a bunch of local schmucks that used to just love bowling and talking wrestling with each other. And now there's a lot of people that actually want to listen to us talk about wrestling. So we're going to nail it. We're going to knock it out of the park. They always say play wicked hard when you come to the park. And we are at a park that we've never been to. We are going to play so hard. And this is going to be amazing. This is a huge break for us. And we're just going to take it and run with it. Thank you to everybody who's watched us and supported us. And if not, please check us out. We're on Twitch, twitch.tv/JohnnyDeathDrop, Sunday nights at 9 o'clock for the Dudes and Belts Wrestling Chatcast. Thank you for the cheap
Nice.
plug time, Tim. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Hey, you guys earned it.
Thank you very much.
I've been a listener of the show for actually
You have your own shirt.
You're a character on. We made a shirt with you on it, man. Like little Timmy Vader time.
No, I'm happy for you guys.
Thank you very much.
I think that's super cool. You guys have worked your asses off to get there. So
Vince
good
Russo
luck.
is the guy. It kind of froze in there in the beginning, so I didn't see what Martin said completely until the end. But Vince Russo is the guy for any of those people that used to watch back in the day when it was, Stone Cold stunning Vince McMahon and DX and all of that classic stuff. Vince Russo wrote all of that.
Yes.
Like he was the mind behind that stuff. So this is a pretty big deal in that world to be
Yes.
featured on the brand.
super cool. Truly, I'm happy.
Bunch of local boys that kind of did good and made good. So thank you very much for the support, Tim, and like everybody else who's watched us. Even if you only came in and checked us out, and you were like, these guys suck. Thanks for coming in and checking us out for 5 minutes. We
begins.
appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah, very
Yes.
much so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now the work begins. So great. Again, great job.
Thank you, buddy.
Really cool.
Thank you.
Really cool. We have a shit ton of stuff to talk about.
We do.
Let's do it.
We got a ton of things blew up. Like last week, Brian and I struggled to. Well, I wouldn't say struggled. We had fun and it was a good show, but we kind of, had to force some topics. Now we don't because we have a lot to talk about. So
Yeah.
let's
So
get
what are we
right
talking
to it.
about, Tim?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
what
going
do
to
you got?
start. I'm going to start, Marky. Talk a little bit about your New Year's Day tournament.
Oh man, dude, it was a smash in here. We had a great time. There were 3 shifts, 48 total bowlers. We ended up getting 45 total bowlers out of it. One of my local bowlers here, Rob Brown, new to the pro scene, bowling on a Friday night pro team on a Sunnyside, got his first big professional win. We bowled a best 5 out of 7. So he bowled 7 games. You dropped your 2 worst. And for his 5 games, I believe it was 667 or 665, I believe. I don't have the stats in front of me.
I was just pulling them up right now.
He bowled amazingly for 5 out of the 7. His 2 drop scores were pretty bad, but hey, you know what? That's what a 5 out of 7 is all about. How many times have you bowled 5 games and wish you could have gotten rid of 1 or 2 of them?
667.
And a lot of
667.
guys know about, 4 or 5 boxes in, you're like, man, this game's going to be a struggle. But at least,
Right.
if you're dropping 2, you can use it. Okay, this is the back 5s where I figure out what the fuck I'm doing wrong.
Exactly.
Like,
And that's what a lot of the fellas did. A lot of the people that cashed, they had 2 really bad drops. But after that drop was a lot of times was their biggest string. But no, Rob made really good. He's a good friend of mine. I've been watching him come up and he was one of the guys that came over from Leo's Super Bowl. Although he bowled here for a long, long time back in the day when it was Lafayette. It's been good to see him getting better along with guys like Justin Lyonnaise and some of the other guys that are trying to dabble their feet into the world of the pros. Dean Sullivan ended up coming in second. Dean was the most consistent bowler in the house all day long. I believe his 2 drop scores were 121 and 126. So it was absolutely ridiculous how good he bowled all day long. The only thing that held him back, he just didn't have the big one. Rob had a big 50 game in there somewhere, and Dean was in the 20s and 30s all day. Sean Baker
tough
came
problem
up.
to have, though.
Yeah, I know, right? But Dean clearly won. We had a side pool of the best 7 with no drops, and Dean won that by about 50 pins. So
Yeah, I was just looking at these. Baker, you mentioned Baker coming in third.
yep.
He can thank his 58, 44, and 38 for getting him in third.
Yeah, his two other scores were 105s, I believe, that he hung on to.
Two 105s. That means he dropped an 83 and a 95.
Yep.
I bet that 83 was fun to be around Sean during that.
Oh.
The air must have been fairly blue.
He was cool. He was in here. He was having a good time. Honestly, Baker, I was talking to Kimba. Kimba had messaged us last second because we had a few dropouts for the 6 o'clock shift during the day, and Kimba had messaged and asked if there was still an opening. They were just sitting at home chilling. It was a wicked last second thing.
Yeah.
So when he walked in ice cold, I think one of his drops, I think the 80 was his first game that he threw. I'm not sure.
Oh, that makes sense then. Yeah, if
But
you
he
just decide to up and bowl.
He came in, and it took him a couple games to figure it out. But then when he did, the guy was unstoppable. And
that's
to
Sean
that
Baker.
to that credit, Rob Brown was bowling directly next to Sean Baker for all 7 games. They were Rob was one lane to Sean's left, and they were both in position 2. So Rob did the thing that people love to do. You step up your game to somebody next to you. And who better to step up to your game to than Sean Baker? Sean Baker makes a lot of people step up, because if you don't, you're going to lose by a lot. And Robbie really, really did. Rob was great. Dean was good. Baker was good. Like, it was a great day. There was a lot of cool shenanigans in the bar afterwards. It was a great day to be had. The bowling alley did well. Everybody was happy with the prize structure. It was another really successful best 5 out of 7 on New Year's Day for us here. So it was a good time. Cool. And I did not miss a shot all day, and it was glorious.
I'll wrap up the top 9, which was, you paid 9 spots. So
yes,
Rob number 1, Dean number 2, Baker 3, Matt Susi 4th. I think that was in the first shift. He was leading
in the 11 o'clock. Yes, he did.
And it was up until the last shift, so he led a couple of shifts. Jumbo Jimbo Aon, number 5, Jeff Walsh 6, Phil Clough 7 at 978 years old. Still minus 900. I mean, the dude is 78 years old. And
he's so consistent. It is ridiculous. Every ball.
And he's a duck pin guy too. He bowls on the duck pin tour.
Yeah. Number 8, Norm Pelletier, and number 9 was Corrado Pani, rounding out your top 9. So, great job.
Day. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
For sure.
Maybe, hopefully, I thought about coming down for this year, but I just couldn't make it happen. So, hopefully next year I'd love to come down and give this one.
Same here.
Give it a run.
It's a good time, especially with the 5 out of 7 element in it. A lot of the bowlers tend to keep their head on straighter for longer, because you got that drop. Unless you walk in and your first 2 strings are in like the 80s and 90s, and
then you're like, shit.
Nuts in the basket. Now we got no choice. Now it's got to be 5 good ones. But all in all, it's always a good time. Everybody's having a good time. A lot of laughs, a lot of beers. It was a good time.
Cool.
What else we got in the world of candlesticks?
We've got there's so much. There's so much. At least here in the States. I know Calvin is going to be a little bit quiet when I say so. Calvin, what's going on up in... Actually, let's get Canada out of the way first. Calvin, you want to talk about tournaments up there?
Nothing. Bubkiss. Suck my cock, government.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to argue
blame
that point.
Canada. Blame Canada.
Even Canadians are yelling blame Canada right now.
Yeah.
Like we can't even have fans in hockey arenas. Like,
that's not.
Zippo.
I know. It's crazy.
Suck a big dick. It's stupid.
I really, Calvin, the one thing I'll say is I really wish you wouldn't hold back, because someday it's really going to affect you if you just continue to hold your emotions in.
I know. It is. It's going to blow. I'm going to blow one of these days.
So let's talk about a big one thing we do have is the Pro Series is at Exeter this Saturday. This is the I don't know what they're calling it. I thought it was a 3-person team. It's actually a 4-person team.
Wait, now it's a 4-person?
It
was a 3-person forever.
It was 3-person, yeah.
It was a 3-person, then it was a 4-person, then it was a 3-person. This was all in the span of 3 days. And then I finally just said, Freshie, I'm really confused. What is it? And he said it's a 4-person team.
Okay, so they're taking the top 32?
Top 32.
So there's 8 teams.
There's top 32. Your top 8 will be random. You know, one of those top 8 will get
pick
one of
3
those
apiece.
from the next 8. We'll get one of those from the next 8. We'll get one of those from the bottom 8. Random draw, 4-person team, and then may the best team win after your top 5 qualifiers. So that is Saturday. First shifts at 10, second shifts at 1, which means your playoffs will be sometime around 4:30 that it will start, give or take. So
You
that
got
is
the entries.
What about it?
Do you have the entries? You could read off who was bowling.
God. Well, I didn't pull that up because that was the last second. I actually pulled up the one I really wanted to talk about. Is the Bob Allard's tournament he put together, the Battle of the Sexes.
Yeah.
That is the rosters have been drawn. That will be held January 16th at Bowlerama Family Fun Center. Lanes will go on at 9 o'clock. They'll draw for lane assignments around 9:25, 9:30. Bowling starts at 9:30. They have added a sponsor, has added an additional $200 to the prize pool, and an additional $50 goes to the Candlepins for Cancer. That is Damon Distributions, which I believe is Will Damon.
It is, yes.
That has done that. So thank you, Will. For the women, the roster for the women will be Amanda Carroll, Becca Vestal, Shannon Scribner, Glennis McKinley, Mario, Sonia Renee, Sonia Johnson, for those that don't know who that is, Kerrigan Skinner, Amy Doobie, Faye Sawyer, and Sage Johnson. Deb Regan will be a standby. For the men, we have Bob Allard, Will Damon, Stephen Walsh, Stephen Spingola, Bob Heap, Jeff LaPierre, Dan Gray, Mark Blay, Tim Emery, Mike Kane, and then we have Jeff Surratt, Dave Main, and Sean McDonald. They are standby in no particular order. If I'm not mistaken, and we'll have to get Bob on at some point to kind of talk the process. I'd like to have at some point we'll get some more into this because something tells me this might be a yearly type tournament. So
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I believe from the men's side, the average is capped at the highest women's average. So, for example, if Amanda had a 120 average, I don't know what she's going in with, but let's say her average is 120, then it is capped at 120 for the men.
That's interesting. That's a different little caveat. You don't see that.
Yeah. Yeah. So no cap for the women. It's just whatever the highest average on the women's side will be the cap on the men's side. So you will bowl each opposite sex once. Top 3 and wins advance to the final. In the event of a tie and wins, it goes by total pinfall. If still tied, it'll be decided by a high single. So bowl like you stole it, people. That is right from I
like that.
Yep. So interesting format. Again, that is Saturday, the 16th of January. I think that's Saturday. I hope.
Sunday.
Saturday. Sunday the 16th. Sunday. In Portsmouth at Bowlerama Family Fun Center.
Yes.
I'm kind of torn on this one. And
I'm picking the girls.
Well,
Are you torn on the results or torn on what's happening with the tournament?
well, here's the thing. And I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. This whole type tournament
I'm interested
transpired.
to see which side is the devil's advocate.
Yeah,
This whole tournament transpired after a certain individual who will not be named created a little bit of a dumpster fire with comments about women bowling against men in men's tournaments, things like that. Personally, I don't care. And I'll be honest with you, I am of the mindset that like with the men's worlds,
Right.
I really could care less if they have women bowl. I don't care. At the end of the day, it's still, you're going to put your best bowlers up, regardless if it's man or woman. I don't care. I'm telling you, I'm on record. I do not care.
Yeah.
Okay. With a tournament like this, so if you truly want to get your best versus best, why are you capping the averages? Why not let a Josh Daly bowl? Why not let a Sean Baker bowl? Why not let a Calvin Locke bowl?
I can see Mark smile.
Okay.
Because he's not wrong.
Why
Yeah.
why
He's
not? And look,
wrong.
I'm gonna say it. I'm not saying I'm one of the best, but my average is more than the cap. I couldn't bowl in this tournament.
Yeah.
If you want the best against the best and you want to prove that the women can beat anybody, then why are you capping it?
You're not wrong.
For sure.
Okay. That's my devil's advocate portion.
That's not
I would
devil's
love to
advocate.
see
That's logic.
I would absolutely love to see the 5 best against the 5 best, or what we see. I would love it.
I think this is a great format. I think Bob's onto something here. I love the Battle of the Sexes idea. I absolutely think this is a cool tournament.
Oh
That
yeah,
has-
we used to, when Park Lanes was open, they had a once a month Battle of the Sexes, and there was waiting lists because people were excited to go bowl it just to be like, we beat the men, like the women beat the men, and all this
Right.
stuff. So it's
Mhm.
it's definitely a lot of fun, and we used to have a whole bunch of fun going to these Battle of the Sexes. So it's a fun one.
Again, I'm not taking away from anything that Bob's done with this tournament or anyone that's helped put this tournament together, or the women or the men that are bowling. This is not to take away from that at all.
Right.
I just think if you're going to have, and again, if you look back on the comments from the shit show that was,
Do
when
we
you
have to?
no,
No,
I'm just saying
no,
if you do,
when
there
you
are
do.
there are
Saying
people
when
on
you do, when you go and look back.
there are people on there that will say that women can compete with the men. I'm one of them. I will say it right now.
Right?
I've said it before.
Fact. Sure.
Fact. Women can compete.
This is a
with
weird
men.
conversation to have for me, because honestly, like, Amanda's way better than me. There's a handful of women on that list that would whoop the shit out of me in a 5-string match or a 3-string match. So it's an interesting conversation for me to have. Like, you guys, like, you're all very, very accomplished bowlers. So like I would fit well in this tournament, honestly.
I mean, I'll go on. Look, Amanda's beat me before.
Oh yeah.
She's beat me in matter of fact, she beat me in the she and I bowled together in the
in
tournament last in Augusta.
In
16
August,
strings.
Christ,
Yeah.
I was on the same lane as Amanda. We bowled the Candlepins for Cancer roll-off up in Portsmouth, about a month or so ago now, maybe late November. I don't remember when it was. She smoked my ass by about 50 pins.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
that's-
just mean Amanda though. Like, Glennis would beat me in 5 strings right now, probably.
Glennis was bowling the Pro League last year when we bowled at Leda Lanes when our Friday night league got COVIDified. We were bowling the 3-man speed league up at Lakeside. I'm sorry, Leda Lanes. And Glennis was ripping it up. Women like Laurie Lewis were ripping it up.
Mhm.
Like there's nothing to say that they can't compete
No,
at all,
but
because that'd be wrong to say, because they definitely can compete and excel and beat more than their fair share of competitors. Man, woman, doesn't matter.
Yep.
However,
and especially
just like
especially in a one-day tournament, in a what's turning out to look to be, I want to say these are 1-string matches.
Yeah.
So this goes to me to say that, look, anybody can beat anybody in 1 string.
Absolutely.
That's why I've never been an advocate for 1-string matches.
That's why we all hated the Comcast bowling show when that was on back in the day. It was like, cool, there's a show on, but it was like King of the Hill format. And the first 2 guys that bowled, or the first 2 kids or girls, whoever, whatever format they were doing, was a 1-string match. I mean, yeah, you got to put all your nuts in a basket in one game, but that sucks.
Yeah.
That's how the show that Tim and I were on back in the mid
Augusta.
2000s in Augusta, Candlepin Action, that was you had your qualifiers, but your champion bowled the second match. So your two guys would bowl, and then the winner would bowl the champion in a one-string match. So it was only, what, Tim, 2 strings on TV?
No, it was 3.
No, usually those
tournaments.
Usually those tournaments are one-string matches between the challengers, and then like a 2-string match against.
No. What it was you had your two qualifiers bowled against each other, and then the champion from the previous week bowled the third qualifier, and then the winner of that one bowled the winner of the first one in a one string. So it was 3 strings.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's different. I like.
Yeah,
that.
but it goes to one-string matches, and I have said this before, and I will keep saying it. Anybody can beat anybody in one string.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that leads me to an interesting thought, and we hadn't talked about this with just Tim saying that. So, Tim, if there is a tie after 3 strings in the finals of the Worlds, does it go to a one-string roll-off, or do you start the 3 strings over?
One string.
It's only 1 string, but I think it should be 3. But it is only 1 string.
What do you think, Tim? We know what it is. We know it's 1 string, but you just said you're not a fan of 1 string, so.
Considering you've already bowled 3 strings, I'm okay with 1 string. Because then it turns into a 4 string. It's a tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that as a tiebreaker.
There's a little bit of difference between a tiebreaker versus just a 1 string.
Like I actually really like how they do the ties in the knockout, Marky. I'm sorry. I really like how they do that, where you do the whole string. Because I've seen some places where if you tie, it's a 2-box roll-off, and I think that sucks.
I hate those. Those are terrible. 2 boxes or 5 boxes. That sucks.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a team thing, each person only rolls 2 boxes. I understand it's for the sake of time, because a 5-man team bowling a 1 string, it's about an hour.
Yeah.
I get it. But I don't care about your time if I put hundreds of dollars into the entry and my team's trying to win. I don't care how much time it takes. You know?
And I'm not a fan of pinfall tiebreakers for anything. I'm sorry. If you tie and you're spending money and it's a money spot, roll that off. 1 string, roll it off.
That's
if you're gonna have a roll off for
first I don't like
and second.
About Worlds.
No, I mean if you're gonna have a roll off for first and second, like in just in a marathon style tournament, and you're saying okay, anything else is settled by pinfall. No, if you're gonna roll off for first and second, you're gonna roll off for all the money spots. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, again, that's coming up Sunday the 16th. At the same time,
we went down a hole.
I wish everyone good luck.
Absolutely.
I will make a pick right now, and this is not going to be a shocker.
No.
I see Amanda Carroll winning this.
Absolutely.
That's my pick.
Yeah.
However, I will say that any of the women could win this.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. Anyway,
I'm gonna look at this and see who I think's gonna be in the finals.
Webster Timber Lanes has their 2nd annual South Shore Classic. That is on Sunday, January 16th as well. That starts at 10 a.m. That is 90% handicap of 280. They are taking a max of 44 teams. Contact Webster Timber Lanes or Matt Nichols for a spot. I believe they are still taking signups.
Man, too, they got to get some of these Western Mass tournaments on a Saturday so we can get out there. 'Cause it's a 4-hour drive to get out there. Some of those.
Is Abington? Is that? I don't know.
South Shore, south of Boston.
That's
South Shore.
About 15-20 minutes.
That's
south
still
of
a drive, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For us. Yep.
The Sunday tournaments are hard for Maine guys to get down there because it's by the time you get back, it's 1 a.m. and you have to work the next day.
So I don't think the way I'm reading this, I don't think they're doing one person. I think they're just doing the battle of the sexes. So it says top 3 in each sex bowl a 1-game combined 3-string total to determine the battle of the sexes champion. So it's just women against men. There's not actually going to be. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then why'd you say Amanda?
Because the top 3 in each sex bowl a 1-game combined 3-string total to determine the battle of the sexes champion.
Yeah, which is men or women.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was a one per. Okay, no, then I'm saying I'm taking the women.
At least that's the way I'm reading it. I mean,
It just says, remember, you'll bowl each opposite sex once. So what's
Yeah.
that? 10 strings. Top 3 and wins advance to the final. In the event of a tie, whatever.
yeah. And it says top 3 in each sex bowl, a 1-game combined, 3-string total to determine the battle of the sexes. So I think
Okay.
it's just the men or the women.
Okay, I'll take the women.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking the women too. At
I
least
took
that's
the
the way
women
I'm
as
reading
well.
it. I could be wrong, but at least that's the way I'm reading it.
And let's see.
What else did we have?
Let's see, there was one other one here, one other tournament I was going to mention. Date change, the 2022 senior scratch tournament. 50 plus. This
Yeah,
guy's bowling it.
go Tim.
Yeah.
Timmy, are you
Go
going to go
Tim.
bowling that?
I don't know. It's spare time rec down in
You should do
Whitensville. I was
You
not a
should
fan of
do it.
bowling
You should
there.
make your senior series debut.
I could.
Go Tim.
That is May 22nd.
It'd be
5
like John
strings.
Daly playing in the
Yes,
senior
in the
senior tour.
Yes.
We'll see. I don't know yet.
We'll go. So Marky and I will come support you, Tim. Wait, is it on like a Wednesday afternoon? That's when they have those senior stuff.
At
At, like,
4:30.
It's the early bird.
4:30. It's
Before
the early bird
before the house
tournament.
leagues come
In
in.
the
It's
morning.
the early bird tournament.
May 20,
If coffee after.
whatever May 22nd is. I have
Coffee.
no idea.
Coffee
It
and
is,
donuts are mid matches.
No, it's a Sunday, so I probably won't. I
Oh.
probably won't bowl it because it's Sunday at 1 o'clock. That means I'm not out of there until 4 o'clock.
What is it? May 22nd?
May 22nd. That means I'm not out of there until 4, 5 o'clock at the earliest. It's 4.5 hours for me to get down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go down
Yeah.
Saturday
Good.
before, catch a Sox game, have a
Yeah,
sausage from
exactly.
the sausage
No,
guy.
I probably
you
will
know.
not be bowling in that one.
Yes. Make a weekend out of it.
No.
Yeah, make
You got this,
Angie will
Tim.
love it.
Yay, Tim. Everybody
Nope.
in the comments. Tim the senior
yeah.
tour.
We want Tim to bowl the senior
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah. If we
Okay,
get,
so
if we
I
get,
do have, before we
Wait,
move on
Tim,
to a,
He's
before
not
we
gonna
move
let you
on to
talk.
the next topic,
Tim, if we,
we
Tim,
do
if
have
we-
the list for this
Tim,
Saturday.
Tim.
That is the random draw teams. Your 10